If this film was any sweeter, I'd have gotten diabetes from it. Hi, my name is Ryan Lane, and welcome to my review channel. So for today's movie, I will be reviewing Wonka, directed by Paul King and starring Timothee Chalamet, Sally Hawkins, Hugh Grant, Olivia Colman, and Calah Lane. So the film follows, you guessed it, Willy Wonka, played by Timothee Chalamet, as he ends his multi-year journey to find the most delicious chocolate available and, well, rather to find the most delicious ingredients in which to make delicious chocolate. And he has decided to now open up shop and, share his chocolate with the world. One problem, though. The area in which he's going to is has a bit of a monopoly going, in which the three main chocolate sellers have formed a cartel and basically bully any competition out of the way. Totally nothing like real life. Plus, they have both the police and the church in their pockets, with chocolate as briberies as opposed to, cash. And so, with that, Wonka decides to team up with Noodle, played by Calah Lane, an orphaned girl, along with the indentured servants of Mrs. Scrubbits, played by Olivia Colman. So, writing-wise, this film borrows as much from Paul King's Paddington films as much as it does from the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I always get the names confused. But the point is, this film has a similar Paddington vibe, as that is to say, an outsider comes into a community, makes it better, the bad guys are comedically bad and get their eventual comeuppance at the end. Nothing terribly revolutionary in this movie. But much also like the Paddington movies, it has a lot of charm to it. The characters are all charming and three-dimensional. Even the villains, as mustache-twirlingly evil as they have fleshed out personality and some three-dimensional characterization. They don't just hate Willy Wonka's chocolate just for the sake of it. They do genuinely like it. It's just that between having a competitor who makes good chocolate and making boatloads of cash, they'd rather make boatloads of cash. Also, the musical set pieces, again, I don't think they're destined to become earworms, for better or for worse, but they are catchy, they're well shot, have imaginative visuals, so very well done there, and the actors all do a pretty good job. I mean, I feel like some actors needed more help in the recording booth than others, and you could tell in the final product, but overall, they nail the song set pieces pretty well. They convey the story very well and help deliver some characterization, so again, well done there. So the performances overall are pretty solid. Timothee Chalamet is the obvious standout as Wonka. So basically, if you're worried about if Timothee Chalamet can live up to the legacy of Gene Wilder, don't worry, because Timothee Chalamet, he doesn't even try, and the film is kind of all the better for it. He manages to, I will say this, he manages to evoke the general vibe of the character while also bringing his own unique energy to the role. And he has proven a lot of range. This is the guy who plays Muad'Dib in Doom Part 1, and hopefully this upcoming March, assuming the film doesn't get delayed again, Doom Part 2. So Chalamet's got a lot of range, and especially within this movie, the guy brings plenty of zany, hilarious energy to the role. Yet he also brings a lot of pathos, like just the very end song, like just the very slight variation in his voice conveys so much emotion. Calah Lane is also a fun sidekick as Noodle, an orphan girl whose dream of finding her parents has been sounded down by indentured servitude to Mrs. Scrubbits. Speaking of Mrs. Scrubbits, she's played by Olivia Colman. She's very fun to watch as a domineering woman who runs a predatory hostel business, and she's pretty funny to watch her be comedically evil and also have a fun romance with her co-conspirator. The chocolate cartel leaders are also well acted. They're zany enough to be hilarious to watch, and how they go about their illicit dealings, but they're also serious enough to feel like an actual threat at times without it feeling too disjointed in the narrative. Also, Hugh Grant and Sally Hawkins, they play Lofty and Oompa Loompa and Wonka's mother, respectively. Their screen time is relatively limited, but they're very well effectively used. I feel like the film could have overused the Oompa Loompa character in a desperate bid to appease what must have been a lot of studio notes saying, more Oompa Loompa, we must appeal to nostalgia. But thankfully, the film knows just the right amount of Oompa Loompa to use in this movie. Same goes for Sally Hawkins. She has a relatively limited role, but she makes the most of it. So visually, the film is a treat to behold. From the set design to the costumes, they're all colorful, imaginative, and manage to evoke the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory film without feeling beholden to it or overly derivative. It manages to have its own identity. The set design also manages to incorporate a lot of practical effects and digital, some of which work better than others. The effects used to bring the Lofty, the Oompa Loompa to life, they work well for the most part, but there were a few shots where I was going, he is not standing there. Other moments, I was like, oh, this is just a regular character interacting with other characters. Same kind of goes also for some digital body double effects, as they don't quite blend well with the live action elements and can be a bit wonky, at times. But otherwise, the digital effects work pretty well, especially the ones involving floating. So, much like a Hershey bar, Wonka is as formulaic as it is a pleasure to enjoy. So with all that in mind, I will be giving Wonka 3.5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. If you like this review and would like to see more like it, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And for today's comment section prompt of the day, what is your favorite Roald Dahl book and why?